Good morning, friends, and welcome back. Today's class is going to be a focus on lengthening our side bodies. So these muscles on the side here, we think of them as our like lateral side muscles. We can bend sort of laterally up and down. And when we're stretching one side, usually this brings the opposite side into flexion and vice versa. So while we're going to be focusing on these two muscles on the side here, we also want to keep in mind to keep the rest of the core engaged. So you're going to hear me tell you a lot to lengthen the tailbone, tuck in that low belly, just to make sure that you have support from the front and back so that we can really focus in on these side parts and really get them a nice good stretch and strengthen today. All you're going to need is a couple of blocks toward the top of your mat, and we will go ahead and get started. The oils in the diffuser this morning are sweet orange, coriander seed, clove bud, turmeric, and eucalyptus. All right, I'm going to have you join me in your most comfortable seated position, whether you want to be sitting up on a block or a cushion or right down flat on the mat. Just allow yourself to come into the space, doing a few circles up and around the hips and legs. Maybe roll out the shoulders or move the spine around a few times, just so you can get any little wiggles, any excess energy out of your system. Come to ground yourself down, center yourself through the spine, and begin to relax. So you can soften or close the eyes. Release the belly, relax the shoulders away from the ears. And as you find yourself in this space, you can start to take notice of your natural pace of breath. Not trying to control it, but just observing as it comes and goes within the body, how it feels. And as we sit here, continue to relax the body. Sometimes when we change our focus to the breath, it's easy to tense back up, whether it's in the knees and legs or the shoulders. So as you breathe and beginning to deepen and lengthen each breath, nice and slow, continue relaxing, checking in, noticing if you're building up any tension, and just trying to release as we continue to build upon this deep breath. And as the breath grows deeper, really take a moment to think of how it feels when you find that expansion through the belly, through the chest. If you can feel that breath traveling down the limbs, maybe all the way to the toes, the fingers. And then as you lengthen out the exhale, drawing it out nice and long, see where you can feel that pull coming from as the breath releases. Observe what happens to your mind, and not just your thoughts, but the sensation of your mind, how it ebbs and flows with the breath itself. Breathing in deeply exhale, releasing. Your next round of breath, make it the most controlled and the deepest breath so far. So nice and slow, drawing the air in. Feel expansion through the belly, coming up through the lungs and the chest until you feel the breath fill all the way up to the throat. And then as slowly as you can, completely empty out that breath. Feeling it draw itself up and out of the body as the belly gently squeezes. And then slowly find your natural rhythm again. You can keep the eyes soft or closed. We're going to start some very slow, gentle movement by rolling out the shoulders. You can take your hands to your knees. If you're sitting up on a block or pillow, you can place it off to the side. As we inhale, we'll draw the shoulders up to the ears. And exhale, slide them down the back. Just gentle circles, not moving too fast. Really trying to match your pace to that slow, steady rhythm of your breath. The bottom of the exhale will reverse the direction. Shoulders come up and then exhale forward and down. And at the bottom of your next exhale, we'll begin to alternate each shoulder. So again, just moving nice and slow. One shoulder rolling at a time. And this is where you're going to start to feel that little bit of a stretch up through the side body, up through the rib cage, as we draw one shoulder up at a time. So this movement is just helping to isolate some of those side body muscles. Just beginning to bring the blood flow there. Reverse the direction. Noticing any differences between your left and right sides. Maybe one side's just feeling a little bit tighter. Usually the side, if you sleep on your side, it'll be that one. For me today, both sides are very tight. So I'm spending just a couple extra moments here because it feels really nice. And then we'll slowly make our way to stillness, coming back through center. Bring your arms out in front, hands forward. And then roll your shoulders down and back so you open the hands a bit here and the collarbone is nice and open. We're just going to floss the shoulders a few times. We're not spending too much time into the shoulders today, but towards the end of class, we have a very special posture we'll be coming into. So flossing the shoulders, we've just pushed the hands forward and then pull them back. Push the hands forward and then pull them back. We're trying to maintain this openness in the shoulder girdle as we do this, so avoid bringing your hands to the center. And if you need to at any time, stop, roll the shoulders down and back, and continue this forward and backward momentum. We're keeping the spine still. This movement is just coming from the shoulders. A couple more times here. And we're just gently breathing as we do this. And this time as the hands push forward, gently pull them back, and we're just going to open the arms to the sides. My hands are flexed, so I'm pushing out through my palms, trying to keep the arms parallel to the floor and that spine nice and tall. Slowly bring the hands down and around behind. We're going to link fingertips here. Once again, roll those shoulders down and back. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to bring our clasped hands to rest on the outer left hip, just right onto the side here. Take another breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to gently lower that left ear over the left shoulder. So what we're doing here is creating some space on the right side of the neck, and I'm mirroring you, and up through the top of the shoulder blade here. And we're just relaxing the head to the side, not trying to pull the ear down. Relax the arms, but keep the belly slightly engaged so you don't compromise that length in the spine. On your next exhale, we're going to gently and slowly move the nose down toward the armpit, trying to stretch to the back of the neck. Just breathing here. On an inhale, we'll roll the ear up and over the shoulder, bringing the head back through center. Exhale. Inhale, reach the arms back behind, puff the chest forward. And then exhale, release the hands forward. Take your left hand to the mat beside you. On an inhale, right hand reaches up and overhead, finding our first big side bend of the day. Ground down through that right sit bone. So you really extend all the way up the side body, through the ribs, the shoulder, all the way out to the fingers. Pressing that left hand away from the mat. If the neck feels okay, go ahead and turn to look up at the elbow. And your next inhale will reach both hands up. And exhale, hands coming into the heart. If it feels okay with your legs, reverse the cross of the feet. Hands in front, roll those shoulders down and back, opening up. And we're going to reach the hands out to the side. Hold here. Feel that stretch through the front of the chest, the squeezing of the shoulder blades in the back. Remember to keep that belly slightly tucked in here. And then exhale, we're going to release the hands down and behind, linking opposite fingers this time, if that's okay. Shoulders roll down and back. Breathe in. And as we exhale, we'll bring those clasped hands to the outer right hip. Take another inhale. And this time exhale, right ear gently over that right shoulder. I'm a little bit tense in my neck today, so you'll notice I'm not really leaning too far to the side. But again, we're not trying to force the ear down. We're just letting gravity take over to open up the left side of the neck this time. And on an exhale, we'll roll the nose down toward the armpit. Inhale, ear over the shoulder. Bring your head back through center. Breathe out. Inhale, arms reach back. And exhale to release. This time, right hand to the ground. Inhale, left reaching up and over to the side. Press the mat away. Left sit bone grounds down. Big extension up into the side. If it feels okay, we can look up to the elbow. Next breath in, reaching up with both hands. And exhale, hands to the heart. As the hands come down to the chest, go ahead and allow your nose to follow the fingertips. And then releasing the hands down. Keep the head hanging, shoulders relaxing away from the ears. And we're just stretching out through both sides of the back of the neck. You can give a little couple gentle head rolls from side to side. Not creating too much movement, just little stretches here. And bringing yourself back to center, chin still tucking to the chest. Take a full breath in and out. Inhale, head comes back through center. And exhale. Keep your right foot tucked in. We're going to extend our left leg out to the side. And the hips are a little bit open here. So sometimes when we're in seated tree, we're squaring off those hips, but I want you to have the hips slightly opened. So right knee points out towards one direction, and that left leg is extending out towards the other direction. Take a breath in. As you exhale, turning the torso out over that extended left leg, and then relax into the hips a little bit here. Sometimes this motion, twisting slightly to the side, is enough of a stretch. So we're really going to start to feel it, especially in the top of this left hip. Just take a couple of breaths here. Try to keep the spine nice and tall. See if you can relax this right leg a little bit. Keeping the left foot flexed, we're going to set up for a fold. On an inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, keep that right hip plugged into the mat as we extend toward those left toes and begin to fold down. Hands can rest to the mat. Maybe they reach around for the ankle or for the foot. Really focusing on keeping the right hip plugging down into the mat is going to start to open up through this right side body, especially around through the waist. So you don't have to try to fold down as deep as you can right away. We're really just wanting to target these side body muscles. Use the breath nice and steady to open up some space. And then taking the left hand to the outer left leg, we're going to come down onto the forearm, and you can draw the elbow back in underneath the shoulder here. Try not to sink into the shoulder, but press the mat away. Right hand is going to reach toward those right toes, and then thinking about this motion coming from the torso itself. We're going to roll that right shoulder open to the side, right over that right ear. So just like we do in our side bend, arms stacking over the side of the head, reaching toward the toes, and that right hip is still plugging down into the mat. This is a very deep stretch, so really focus on your breath. Try not to sink into that left shoulder. You might be able to roll the torso open just a little bit more. Notice where that changes the stretch into the side body, maybe through the back muscles. Breathing in. Go ahead and start to close the shoulder off. So looking again toward those left toes. And then exhale, gently bring the hand down. Inhale, press away from the mat to slowly bring yourself back to center. If you're like me, that was really, really deep. So I'm just going to take a moment to take a few breaths here. Releasing any tension. That was a very deep stretch. Now we're going to tuck that left foot in and extend the right leg to the side. Remember, we're opening through the hips a bit here. Come back through center. Breathing in. As we exhale, we're just turning the torso to look out to those right toes. So just a little half a twist here. And again, We're just going to sit here for a moment, let the body adjust, try to relax through the left leg. Right foot is flexed, setting up for the fold. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, extend forward, folding down. Left hip is plugging into the mat this time. And again, maybe hands just frame the leg or reach for the ankle or the foot if it's within your practice. And again, we're not trying to focus on the fold so much as this big stretch into the side body. So find that deep, deep stretch and breathe into it. Allow that breath to open up the space. And think about how these muscles are a little bit more complex than we may think. As we start to deepen these folds or lengthen ourselves a little bit further, you might find the muscles stretching in a little bit of different places. So just observing where you feel that sensation and breathe. So we're slowly going to bring that right hand to the outside of the right leg, coming down onto the forearm and dragging that elbow underneath the shoulder. Press away from the mat here so we're not sinking that shoulder down. Left fingertips reaching toward the toes. And again, this action is coming from our torso as we slowly begin to roll that left shoulder up and over the ear, using the torso to open up through the side body. And we're staying lifted out of that right arm, reaching toward the toes. And as that left hip plugs down into the mat, we're going to feel that deep, deep stretch again in through the top of the waist. Nice big breaths. Inhale, slowly start to close the shoulder off, looking toward the right toes. Exhale as we bring the hand down. Press away from the mat again to lift the torso and gently, slowly move back through center. Take a breath or two. Really thinking about the sensation you may be feeling in the back. We're going to come back to a cross-legged position here to set up for a nice, easy twist. So hands on the knees to start. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to the right, starting at the waist, keeping our spine nice and tall. And then using a couple more breaths here to take it deeper, breathing in, and then twisting on the exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, slowly come back through center. If it feels okay with the legs, reversing the cross of the feet. Inhale. Exhale, twisting to the left, starting at the waist. And then taking it a little deeper, using the exhales to twist. Breathing in and exhale back through center. Breathe in and out. We're going to take both legs fairly wide apart now. And you want to be feeling a mild stretch on the inner thighs. You don't want to be straining just to be sitting in this position. So closing the legs or opening them to your comfort. Bring the hands down in front. And you know where we're going probably. We're just going to walk the hands forward, keeping the spine straight, and then lifting back up. So the legs are staying in one spot, toes pointing toward the sky. And we're just lifting and lowering the torso. Trying to keep the back nice and flat leading with the chest. And what we're doing here is just starting to open up some space in these inner thigh muscles before we move on. So maybe finding one spot to hold here, maybe lift on fingertips, maybe coming down to forearms. If it's within your practice, maybe reaching for one set of toes at a time, or both. And then we'll slowly come back up. Take an inhale. As we exhale, we're going to turn our torsos once again, so we're looking out over those right toes and bringing the left hand to the inner left leg. On your next breath in, right hand is going to sweep up towards the sky. And as we exhale, sliding those left fingertips toward the left foot, we'll come down once again onto that left forearm and find this big stretch here. So we're not focusing so much on getting our torso down toward that left leg as we are about this big lift and extension up through the right side body. So again, feel that right sit bone ground down. And you may not come all the way down to that left forearm. You might have the elbow hovering a little bit here. Because again, we want to think about maintaining engagement in the rest of the core, not just this big stretch in the right side, but making sure we're strongly flexing into that left side body, as well as keeping the belly and the back muscles engaged for support. Inhale, reach that right hand up. And exhale, lower it down. We're going to keep the hand to the inner right leg. As we come back through center, take a breath in. And exhale. Breathe in. Turning the torso to look over toward the left toes. Right hand to the inner right leg. Inhale, left hand reaches up. And then we'll start to slide the right fingers forward, coming down onto the forearm, perhaps. And again, this big lift and opening to the side. Keep that left sit bone grounding down. And legs stay active here, so make sure your feet are flexed, toes pointing to the sky. And we're trying to press the thighs down into the mat, so there's a lot of elements at play here. Check in with your right side body. Check in with your back and your belly. Check in with the breath. And inhale, reaching up. Exhale, left hand comes down. Move yourself slowly back through center. Breathe in and out. We're going to take one more fold here. So breathing in. Exhale, folding down to your own capacity, maybe to forearms, maybe head to the hands, maybe to fingertips. Inhale, moving back through center. And then slowly bring the soles of the feet to the front to meet. Knees out to the side. Butterfly the knees out a few times here, releasing any tension within the hips. Breathing in. Exhale, we'll fold forward. Nice flat back. We're leading with the chest here. You don't have to come down too far. Stretching out those hips. Tailbone rooting down into the mat. Shoulders open, chest is open. And inhale to center. And we'll move into a tabletop position. So coming onto hands and knees and just making sure those blocks are available to you at the top of the mats before we really get moving here. Just a few quick circles up and around the hands to stretch out the wrists. Gently moving around in both directions. And I don't know about you, today is November 1st, but my hand is a little bit sore from carving pumpkins this week, so Noticing if there's any tension that you may be holding, especially in your dominant side. And just find these gentle movements to release. We'll come to the top of the right hand, just moving around, circling around, reversing that stretch, and shaking it out before we move to the top of the left. And shaking out the left hand before we move back into table. Inhale through cow, lengthening. And exhale into cat, navel to the spine, shoulder blades stretching up. 4 more times. Last round. And exhale. Inhale back through table. And as you exhale, shift your hips to the right side and go ahead, turn to look back at that right hip. We're going to hold here. And as we do this, really press that left side of your rib cage out to the left side of the mat. So you feel that stretch through the left side body. Inhale, back to table. Nice and slow. Exhale, press the left hips to the left side. Turn to look back at that left hip. And then find that right side of your rib cage gently pushing out to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, hips move to the right. One more time on each side here. Holding to breathe, looking back. Inhale, table. Last time, exhale to the left side. And inhale to table. And exhale. Go ahead, step the hands forward, spreading through the fingertips. And we're going to step both feet back to a high plank. We'll just be here for a moment. Press out through the heels, tuck the belly in, and try to resist sticking your bum into the air. So we're trying to create a nice long line through the body. Shoulders are stacking over the wrists. Looking slightly forward to keep the back of the neck long. I just want you to take a few breaths here, pressing the mat away. And then notice if you're really pressing the shoulder blades up to the sky, and try to settle them into that shoulder girdle. So not dipping the chest down, not poofing up, finding that beautiful center spot. Starting to shake a little. Breathing in, and exhale, lower the right knee to the mat, and turn the left foot parallel to the short side of the mat. So modified side plank here. Press the hip bones toward that long edge of the mat, and slowly bring the left hand either to the left hip or stacking it up to the ceiling. Ground down that left foot. We're still pressing the hips forward. And then turn your palm to face the top of the mat. And slowly, really firming down into that baby toe side of the foot, reach those left fingertips toward the top of the mat. So we feel that big stretch down the whole side body. Try not to sink into the right shoulder or lock the elbow. Breathe in and out. Inhale, left fingertips to the sky. And then exhale, bring them down again. Keep your legs in this position. Shake out the right hand really quick. Then bring it back down underneath the right shoulder. This time, as we find this side body extension, we're going to use that rolling open of the torso. So left fingertips start to reach toward the top of the mat. And then this motion is coming from our waist, our torso, rolling it open to the side to stack that left arm over the ear. And we're going to be using this motion quite a bit in class today. So let's do it again. Gently close the shoulder off, bringing the hand down. And then left fingertips reaching toward the top of the mat. Roll open that side body, stacking the arm over the ear. Nice and slow. Again, pressing away from the mat with that right hand. Big, big stretch. Breathe in. And then exhale, closing the shoulder off. Bring the left hand down. Come back into table. Shake out that right hand. Inhale through cow. Exhale to cat. Coming back through table, moving on to the next side. Step back to that high plank. Take a moment to adjust the whole body. Press back through the heels. Tuck the belly up and in. Bum is not sticking up into the air. Shoulders are over the wrists. Looking slightly forward. Back of the neck is long. And then finding that beautiful midpoint between the shoulders. So not pressing up too high, not sinking the chest down. Breathe in and exhale, left knee to the mat and turning the right foot parallel to the short side. Press the hips toward that long edge of the mat and we'll slowly bring the right hand either to the hip or extending up to the ceiling. Ground that right foot down. Nice and strong, pressing out through that left hand away from the mat. And then right palm turns to face the top of the mat. And we'll reach those right fingertips forward to increase that side body stretch. Breathing here. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. And then exhale, bring that right hand down. Keep the legs in their position. Shake out your left hand. Bring it back under the shoulder. And again, we're going to create that rolling open motion. So right fingertips reach toward the top of the mat. Then using the waist, the torso to roll the body open to the side, stacking the arm over the ear. Reaching toward the top of the mat. Breathe in. Exhale, close off the shoulder. Bring the hand down. We're going to do that one more time. So reaching toward the top. Opening up through the torso, stacking the arm. Round that right foot down. Breathe in. And exhale, right hand down. Coming back through table. Shake out that left hand. Inhale through cow. Exhale to cat. One more time. As we move back into table, come to the tops of the hands again and just gently press around, roll around. We're going to be coming into one more plank variation, and we're going to be coming into a full side plank. If you don't feel that's within your practice today, that's totally fine. You can come back to the modified plank position. We're going to be moving through the same thing we just did, the same arm motion, where we first stack the arm, it's reaching toward the ceiling, and then where we roll open the arm on the second time. So coming back to our high plank, find that position, make those adjustments nice and strong. If you're moving into a modified position, bring that right knee down. Everyone else, roll to the outer side of your right foot, and then stacking that left foot just in front, strong through that right hand. Don't lock the elbow, but press the mat away, and we'll reach that left hand toward the ceiling or hand to the hip. Press the left hip toward the ceiling. Left hand palm facing the top of the mat. And then we'll reach those fingertips forward, nice and strong. Breathing, shaking maybe. Left hand to the ceiling. And then exhale, slowly move back down into table. Shake out that right hand. We're going to come up into that one more time, but we're going to roll the shoulder open this time. Stepping back to plank. Moving into that side plank position. This time, reaching those left fingertips forward and opening nice and slow, because we want to make sure that right shoulder stays safe. Press the hip bones up. Breathe in. And then exhale, slowly bring that left hand down, back to plank, and back to table. Sink back to child's pose. Take some breaths. Inhale, look to the hands. Next breath in, come back through table. We'll come to the tops of the hands again here. Gently reverse all that stretching. Give them a nice good shake. And we'll move into the left side. Stepping back to that high plank. Firm everything up nice and strong. Then slowly rolling to the outer side of that left foot. Right foot stacking in front. And then extending that right hand up or to the hip. And pressing those right hips to the ceiling. Breathe in. Exhale, slowly right hand comes down. High plank and back to table. Shake out that left hand. So again, as we come into this next one, and this is a little bit intense where we're rolling the body open, I really want you to focus on the stability of this left shoulder that's going to be grounding us to the mat. So try not to lock the elbow. Press strongly away from the mat, and if you feel sensitivity at any point, just bring that right hand back down. I really want you to focus mindful awareness into this left supporting shoulder. So stepping back to high plank, coming to side plank, rolling on to the left side of the foot. And this time, look toward the top of the mat, right fingertips reaching toward the top, and then rolling that side body open. Press the hips up. Left arm strong. Don't lock the elbow. Use the fingertips to grip the mat. Belly engaged. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly bring that right hand down. Back to high plank. Back to table. And child's pose. Breathe. Inhale, look to the hands. Exhale. Inhale, come through table. Tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Head releasing between the arms. Go ahead and pedal out the feet. Lifting and lowering the heels. Opening up through the back of the body. Navel pressing towards the tops of the thighs. Finding stillness, take a few breaths here. On an inhale, right leg rises up behind. Go ahead, bend the knee and open that right hip up and open to the side. Try to keep your torso, your arms squared to the mat, so not rolling into that upper body, but just circling that right knee around a few times. Stretching out the hips. Bending and extending the knee if that feels good. And on your next inhale, we'll square those hips off, reaching those right toes back. Exhale, come high on the left toes as we bring the right knee into the chest, shifting our weight forward. Right foot plants between the hands for our runner's lunge. Now this is where you can take a block here to the inside of this right foot or to the outside for more of a challenge. You'll notice I'm going to be keeping my hand to the outside of my right foot. Breathing in, Exhale, we'll seal that left foot parallel to the short side of the mat. Press those hips forward. And on your next breath in, we'll extend that left hand up to the sky or hand to the hip. As we come up, making sure the bum is not sticking out, but we're still pressing the hips toward that long edge of the mat. And then left palm to face the top of the mat. We'll reach those left fingertips forward. And again, feel this big stretch down that whole left side body as the foot grounds down. And remember, keep the belly engaged. The tailbone is long. And we're still trying to maintain some strength in that right side body. So try not to just let it be soft or collapse. Inhale, left fingertips to the sky. And then exhale, bring them back down. Keep the legs in position. Take a breath here. We're going to sweep up and roll open this time. So again, right hand to the mat or the block, inside or outside of the right foot. Feel that left leg ground down. Turn the quad on. Press the hips toward that long edge of the mat. This time, look toward the top of the mat. Reach those left fingertips forward and gently roll the torso open, stacking the arm over the ear. Breathe. Breathing in and exhale, closing the shoulders off, bringing that left hand down. You can heel toe the back foot in just a step or two. We're going to be coming right into triangle. So again, left hand, right hand finding the block or the mat. Inhale, left hand's going to reach up to the sky or hand to the hip. And as that hand comes up, we're going to slowly straighten that right leg, coming right into triangle. You can keep a soft bend to the knee, but if the legs are straight, we need both quads to be nice and strong. Tuck the low belly in. Breathe into this left side body. On an exhale, we'll bring that left hand down. Keep the legs in position. And we're going to roll right up and open here. So reaching left fingertips toward the top of the mat. Rolling the torso open to the side. Fingertips reaching toward the top of the mat. Strong, strong legs. Big, deep stretch here. Breathe. Feels good. Inhale. And exhale, bring the left hand down slowly, turning those left toes forward as we come. You can lift the left heel. We're going to fold right down to pyramid. So folding down over that right leg. Soft bend to the knee or strong quads here. And inhale, bending into that right knee, coming back to our runner's lunge. Plant the hands. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Looking back at the feet. On an inhale, left leg rises up behind us. Bend the knee, opening the hip, keeping the torso squared to the mat. And we're just creating some movement here. So rolling the knee around, circling, extending or bending the knee. And on an inhale, we'll close that hip off, extending the leg back. Exhale, high on those right toes as we bend the left knee into the chest. Planting the foot between the hands for that runner's lunge. So taking a block now, and the left hand, maybe to the inside of the foot, maybe to the outside. The outside's always going to bring more of a challenge. We'll seal the right foot parallel to the short side of the mat. Press the hips toward that long edge. And on an inhale, right hand reaches to the sky or hand to the hip. Ground that right foot down. And just breathe. Right palm to face the top of the mat. Extend the fingertips forward. Feel that stretch deepen, belly's strong, tailbone long. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. And then exhale, bringing that right hand down. Keep the legs in position. Take a moment to adjust. Take a breath. We're going to be rolling open this time. Left hand grounding down. Look to the top of the mat. Reach those right fingertips forward. Inhale, roll the torso open to the side, stacking the arm over the ear. Hips pressing forward. Feel the strength of the legs supporting you. Breathing in and exhale, right hand down. We're going to heel toe the back foot in just a step, setting up for triangle. On an inhale, we're going to bring that right hand to the hip or all the way up. And as that hand comes up, we're going to straighten that left leg, coming right into triangle. I had to move my right foot back a little bit there. I stepped in too far. Remember, we can give a soft bend to that left knee or strengthen up both of those quads. Tuck in the low belly. Right palm to face the top of the mat. We're going to reach that hand forwards, shoulders stacking over the ear. Then inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, bring the right hand down. Keep the legs in position here. We're going to be rolling up and open. Taking our time with it. Look toward the top of the mat. Right fingertips reaching to the top. Use that momentum from the waist to roll the torso open to the side. Reaching toward the top of the mat. Lengthen the tailbone toward that back heel. Inhale. Exhale, bringing that right hand down, closing the shoulder off. We're going to lift the right heel, turning the toes forward, squaring off the hips as we fold down into pyramid. So just folding over that left leg. And inhale, bend to that left knee, runner's lunge. Plant the hands. Exhale, downward facing dog. Probably feeling a real big stretch across the low back, across the top of the pelvis, through the waist. Inhale, lift to the hands. Exhale, walk to the top of the mat. We're going to fold right down over the feet. Really bend into the knees here, resting the belly on the thighs. Grab opposite elbows. Just let gravity take over. Sway a little bit from side to side. Gently moving. We're going to reverse the grip of our arms. So still holding opposite elbows, but doing it the unnatural way. And you'll notice I'm just kind of reaching and stretching open to the side here, just to stretch out the low back. And then come to stillness, release the arms, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Soften into the knees again. We're going to roll up to stand, stacking each vertebrae as we go, upper body hanging as we straighten the legs. Gently beginning to extend the spine up. Shoulders to the ears. Exhale, slide them down the back. Mountain, breathe here. Close your eyes if it's okay. Slowly flutter them open. Inhale, arms reach out to the side and up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward over the feet, flat back as you fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding down. Plant the hands. Step both feet back to a high plank. And then ground the knees to table. Inhale through cow. Exhale to cat. 2 more times. Inhale through table. We're going to be coming up to stand on the knees. So you might want to come to face that long edge of your mat. And if you need a little bit of extra cushion, if you're practicing on a hardwood floor, I invite you to just fold your mat over so that you get a little extra cushion for your knees. I have double carpet up here, so I'm going to leave mine flat. We'll take the hands to the hips, and we're going to extend the right leg out to the side. So toes facing that long edge. And we want to try to keep a nice flat line on this left side body. Go ahead, relax your right hand on the side of your right leg. And on an inhale, left hand reaches out to the side and straight up to the ceiling. Plug that shoulder down and in. Breathe in, press the hips forward. And then exhale, using those right fingers to travel down the right leg. Keep the left fingertips reaching up to the side. Nice big side bend here. Lifting up and out of those hip muscles of the waist. Keep the belly engaged, breathing. Inhale, slide the right hand back up the leg, left fingertips to the sky. And exhale, we're going to bring that left hand down to the mat, right underneath the left shoulder. Inhale, right fingertips reaching up, palm faces the top of the mat, and then all the way forward. Back to this position, press the hips forward, keep the belly tucked in. Inhale, left hand reaches up. Breathe out. Strengthen up the core, strengthen up that extended right leg. On your next breath in, we're going to reach that right hand all the way up, hands meet. Exhale, hands to the heart. Bring that right knee in. Take a breath. Hands to the hips. This time we're going to extend that left leg out to the side, toes facing forward. Nice flat line down this right side body. And we'll relax that left hand on the side of the left leg. Inhale, right fingers reach up. And as we exhale, guiding yourself with those left fingers, sliding them down the leg as the right fingers reach up and open. You don't have to fold down too far here. Press those hips forward. Keep the glutes slightly engaged, the support from the legs. Breathe. And inhale, slide that left hand back up the leg, right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, bring that right hand down under the shoulder. And inhale, left hand reaching up, ground that left foot down. Left palm to face the top of the mat and extend those fingertips forward. Big stretch. Inhale, left hand to the sky. Power up the belly. And on your next breath in, slowly bring that right hand all the way up to meet the left. Hands meet. Exhale, hands to the heart. Knees come together. Take a big breath in and out. So we have one more posture here before we wind down. And I don't often teach this in my classes because it does have a, if you have sensitive shoulders, it's not really the best for you. We're going to be coming into it in a modified, a little bit of an easier way. It's called Wild Thing or Flip the Dog, because generally you would be coming into downward facing dog, lift the back leg for three-legged dog. And remember earlier when we opened our hips to the side, you would be flipping your body around to come into wild thing, as they call it. We're not going to be coming into it that way. We're going to come in, like I said, to a modified version. But if you do have sensitive shoulders, if you decide to take a modified side plank today, I recommend maybe just sitting this one out, maybe watching the video a few times as I come into it, and then, you know, focusing on building up strength within the shoulders before you attempt it for yourselves, because we don't want any shoulder injuries. So coming to sit flat on the mat, trying to think of how I want to do this, which side first, so that you can see me, because I'll flip around. So we're going to extend the right leg and tuck that left foot in, just as though we were almost going to be setting up for a twist. We're going to bring the right hand behind us, and I like to bring my hand slightly forward and fingertips spread here so that, you know, your middle finger is kind of, or your pointer finger is extending toward that corner of the mat. Roll that right shoulder down and back. So what we're going to be doing here is almost lifting our hips like we would for a reverse plank or for a bridge. I want the momentum to come from grounding down into this left foot and the right hand. We're not going to lock the right elbow, and we're going to use those glutes squeezing to really find that big lift. So as we come up, the only thing about coming into it from this position is like this awkward foot down here. So you want to kind of maybe think that you're kind of coming into a side plank position. Have the foot be neutral as we come up, and then try to ground the toes down as the legs lift. But remember, we're not trying to press the toes out in any weird direction. We want them to stay facing the same direction as our kneecap. So just some things to keep in mind. So when we're ready, really start to press down into that left foot. Feel the glute turn on. Bring your left hand to the inside of that left knee. And then big lift here. Press into the left foot and the right hand to lift the hips. Left hand reaching up. And again, right toes will start to come down. Press the hips toward the sky and reach that left hand behind you toward the top of the mat. You can even come onto those left toes here. Breathe in and then slowly exhale, bring it back down. Now you can see there's a lot of weight coming into this right shoulder. That's why I just warn you, if you have sensitive shoulders or a prior injury, to come into this nice and easy. And maybe you do an even more of a modified version where you just lift up and down, up and down, just until you start to build that strength within the shoulder. So I'm going to flip around to the other side. Left leg is extended this time. Left hand is behind. And again, I'm sliding my hand slightly forward so that when I come up, my shoulder will be stacking over the wrist. Fingertips spread. Right knee is bent. Right arm to the inside of the knee. I'm going to begin to point those left toes down. Press that right foot down. Feel the glutes turn on. Really strengthen up through that left hand. Inhale, lifting those hips. Right hand comes around back. Maybe reaching up onto those right toes. Press the hips up. Try not to lock that left elbow. Breathing. And exhale. Lower it down nice and slow. Use control. And again, for those of you that want to modify this for that shoulder strength, we just lift up and down. So not coming all the way up onto this arm, but up and down. And allow that support from your legs, the glutes, the quads, to do most of that lifting for you. So I'll just demonstrate real quick before we wind down what that would look like coming from a downward facing dog. Those of you that want to take it a little bit farther at home. So as we come into down dog, I'm going to start on my left side. So inhale, left leg reaching to the sky, bending the knee, opening the hip. I'm going to create some movements in my hip here. And I'm going to slowly start to turn my right fingertips out to the side just a little bit. I'm going to reach those left toes to the side, turning onto the outer side of my right foot, bringing those left toes behind, lifting the hips to the ceiling and reaching that left hand back. Big shoulder opener. Slowly closing off. Coming through side plank to plank, back to table. So we did pretty much all of that within our practice today. So you could use this practice to build up to that sort of flow, to that sequence. I'll demonstrate on the opposite side really quick before we wind down. So we have downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Creating some movements. I'm going to turn my left fingertips slightly out. Turn onto the outer edge of that left foot. Running out of room, bring that right foot down behind. Hips press up. Big opening. And then slowly back through side plank to plank. And then down. It's a big movement, a big stretch. We did a lot of deep stretching today. So we're going to wind down. So find your half boat position. In the center of the mat, arms out to the side, nice flat back, breathe in. Exhale, navel to the spine as we slowly round back. When the head is down, relax the arms and relax the legs. Breathe in and out. Big breath into the belly. We'll let it out with a sigh. Tuck the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the legs. Gently rock from side to side. Nice massage across the top of the pelvis, through the low back. Just enjoy the sensation. And we'll find a happy baby. Opening the thighs wide around the ribs. Big stretch for the hips here. Ground the tailbone down. And perhaps rock from side to side here as well. And bringing the soles of the feet together, keep the knees wide, lower the legs to the mat. And either supporting the legs in your hands or taking one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Relax the shoulders. Connect with your breath. Slowly release the arms out to the side. Inhale, bring the knees together. Scoot your bum to the right and extend the left leg. Right foot to the top of the left knee. Take an inhale. As we exhale, we'll find the twist. Right knee softening toward that left side of the mat. It does not have to reach the ground because we want that right shoulder to stay glued. Relax the legs. And just release here. Allow gravity to take over. Looking out to those right fingertips. That'll help keep the shoulder rooted down. Inhale through center. Scoot our bum to the left side and extend the right leg. Left foot to the right knee. Take an inhale here. Exhale into the twist. Left knee to the right side of the mat. And again, it does not have to reach down. Look to the left hand. Keep the shoulder glued to the mat. And then soften, relax the legs. Inhale once more through center. Even out the hips. Take a moment now, any little last minute stretches, adjustments, or movements you need before Shavasana. Feel free to take those. And whenever you're ready, we'll release down. If you are feeling a little sensitive in the low back still, I would recommend doing legs up the wall, where you just bring your bum to the wall, resting the backs of the heels on the wall itself. This is a wonderful inversion without getting on your head or your hands. If you don't have wall space available to you, I would also recommend placing a bolster or blocks underneath your knees. So coming back to lie in whatever feels comfortable for your Shavasana, tuck your shoulder blades underneath. Relax the whole body. Feel your back just melting into the floor, and allow the eyes to soften or close. We're going to take 3 clearing rounds of controlled breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, as deep and full as you can make them. So breathing in. And then slowly, I invite you to release your control of the breath, letting the body take over so you can relax the mind, letting go of any tension, letting go of all control, and submitting yourself to Shavasana, the most important part of the practice. How fully can you surrender to yourself, to your practice? Allow your breath to deepen, bringing awareness back to your body, back to your mind. Slowly wiggle out through the toes and the fingers, rocking the head gently from side to side. Using an inhale, reach and extend your arms overhead, lengthening the whole body. And exhale, softening, relaxing. Floating the knees into the chest one more time. Give yourself a big squeeze and find a moment of gratitude just for yourself, for all of your abilities, for your presence, for your choice to come to the mat today. Whenever you're ready, rolling to one side, using a nice big inhale, make your way to a seated position. We'll bring the hands into the heart, and we'll end our practice today with a round of Om. So take a nice deep breath in. Exhale all the stale air. One more inhale for Om. Thank you so much for practicing along with me today and for all of your continued support.